You like soapy fragrances now, don't you? I've been hearing from you guys that you do enjoy soapy fragrances. Now what about soapy fragrances that kind of go into the shaving soap or shaving cream direction? You like that? Well, guess what? I have one today that is very, very soapy and clean, going into that shaving soap or shaving cream direction, or shaving foam I should say. This is from the house of Etat Libre D'Orange and it's called Exit the King. This is soon to be launched and I've got all the scoop for you here today. Me, personally, also I have a Zoom video that I'm going to cut to throughout this review with Etienne De Swardt of Etat Libre D'Orange, and he and I are discussing this fragrance. So if you're curious to learn about this fragrance, and we do have a giveaway as well, we have a full bottle giveaway for USA subscribers of this channel, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. That's right, today we're talking about Exit the King from the house of Etat Libre D'Orange. This is soon to be launched and I've got all the scoop for you here. As I said, my thoughts on this fragrance. I love soapy fragrances, clean fragrances, and this is actually a Chypre floral fragrance, and I do enjoy this particular style as well. And of course, I have a Zoom video that I'm going to cut to with Etienne De Swardt, founder of Etat Libre D'Orange, and he's going to also give us all his thoughts on how this fragrance came about. So all that coming up. Before we do that though, if this is your first time tuning into my channel and you still haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So I've been anticipating this fragrance ever since I did an Instagram live with Etienne De Swardt of Etat Libre D'Orange. He mentioned in that Instagram live that this was coming, so I've been waiting for it. He mentions that it had patchouli, and this definitely has patchouli in it. It really does, and it doesn't disappoint. So this is a 2020 launch, Exit the King from Etat Libre D'Orange. It's considered a Floral-Chypre fragrance. Perfumers are Cecile, Matton, and Ralf Schwieger. For notes, what we have here at the top, Timur, soap foam accord created with aldehydes and musk, pink pepper. In the heart you have jasmine, E-pure, rose superessence, lily of the valley accord, and finally in the base notes you have patchouli, moss absolute, sandalwood accord, and orchinox. So those are the notes that are listed in this fragrance, and you know what? This is actually a really, really fun fragrance. It is a Chypre floral fragrance, and if you don't know what Chypre fragrances are, I discussed them on the channel some time ago. If you're curious to learn more, you should definitely check out those videos. And Chypre fragrances traditionally have bergamot at the top, labdanum in the heart, oak moss in the base. So this is definitely an oak mossy fragrance. Oak moss is very, very earthy to me. So this has earthy touches, loads of earthy touches, but it's also a very, very green fragrance. Now in the top it has those notes of aldehydes and musk to create this soap foam accord. So this is very, very soapy, clean, fresh, and earthy. So what happens at the top is when you spray it, you'd have that soapy quality. But as I was saying, it's not like bar of soap. Perhaps it is a little bit, but for me it's very foamy. And just imagine earthy mushroom and how soft it can be, or a marshmallow you can squeeze into it. That's the experience with this fragrance. Almost like when you put shaving cream on your hands, or even like something like hair mousse. You know how light and fluffy it is. The wearing experience is like that with this fragrance. But it is a clean, clean fragrance, and it's a very, very sexy soap clean smell in here. So at the top, this is what's happening with a little bit of the Timur and pink pepper, which gives us a little bit of spiciness there. The heart is very, very floral. So you do pick up the flowers. I think jasmine is pretty prominent here. I do pick up a little bit of rose, and of course the lily of the valley comes in as well. There's a very, very big component of lily of the valley here, and I love this note. It takes it to a very, very green direction. It's a green floral smell to me, and I love that. And you can definitely pick it up here with this fragrance. So here, even though this is a unisex fragrance, I feel like around here it kind of leans a little more feminine than masculine. But in the end, in the base notes, the patchouli is pretty powerful here. It's very, very green and woody earthy, along with that moss absolute, with a little bit of sandalwood, and orchinox comes in as well. Now for me, this is almost like going into the forest. It's a very, very clean, pristine forest. They've given us all the. It's almost like you're going to like luxury forest. I don't know if there is anything like this, but you're going to this place and you're getting the most the best quality of the forest you can get. So, and then just picture yourself like taking a bath or a shower with lots of soap, foamy soap bubbling and coming out of the bathtub or the shower. That's the experience I get, because in the end the fragrance is ultra green and ultra earthy, almost like you're digging for very, very clean soap that's dug under the earth, and you're taking it out and you're going to shower with it. I don't know. That's my experience with this one. So it's basically a forest experience, a very, very green forest experience with lots of soap. Interesting to think about it this way, but that's what I think about this. And the other thing I want to say is it does hint at other Chypre fragrances, like classic ones, but I feel like what perfumery has become now, the perfumers have given us a very, very refined version of classic Chypre fragrances. Yes, it hints at classics, but it's very, very modern to me because it's so clean and pure. I mean, they've stripped away all the fat and all the whatever they are, stripping it away, and they're giving you a very, very refined version of a Chypre floral fragrance, which makes it very, very luxury to me. The smell is very, very luxury, and the experience is also very, very luxury because there's no rough edges around the fragrances. It doesn't have those, and it's just giving you the best of the best you can have in a fragrance. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, and I don't even know if you are fans of this particular style, Chypre fragrances, but it's definitely the style. You definitely smell that here. It just has that very distinctive smell of a Chypre fragrance, but you're getting the best of the best here. One other thing I want to mention is that this has that shaving soap-like quality, and you know, it kind of goes into the barbershop-y direction a little bit, just because there are some notes that are present typically in barbershop fragrances that I feel like I'm picking up here, and it goes into that direction. Again, it is a unisex fragrance. It might lean a slight bit feminine for some folks, but what I like about this one is the whole earthiness with the greenness that all combined with the soapiness of the fragrance. It's a great, great scent. I love wearing it, and as you can see, I've been wearing quite a bit of it, and I'm enjoying it because I love the whole soapiness with that earthy woodiness and greenness all wrapped into this fragrance. Anyway, this is my thoughts on this fragrance, and then I'm going to cut to my Zoom video with Etienne De Swardt that I did recently, and he's going to give you more scoops on this fragrance and how it came about. So we'll do that, and then I'll come back and then I'll tell you how you can participate for your chance to win a bottle of Exit the King.
Bonjour Sébastien. So hello from Paris. That's the it's a hot dog day in Paris. It was supposed to be the end of the summer, but it's so hello from Paris, from the other side of the Atlantic. So what about Exit the King? It's a good name, which is everything. What else do you want to tell? It's the it's a land of plenty. It's a land of plenty, like the film Wim Wenders. Exit the King, long live the Queen. It's to celebrate the collapsing systems that we have worldwide, from ecology to virology. We are just at the end of a cycle, creating a new one. So then you have to go through a fall. So it's the celebration of a fall, and when you fall, you need a fantastic perfume to fall with panache. So that's the spirit of Exit the King. Let's celebrate the fall. And the higher you go, the higher you fall. So, yeah. So the more vanity you take, you embark on board, and the higher you fall. So it's just a blend of fun, irony, and quality. Exit the King. Long live the Queen.
So did you come up with the name before the idea behind the fragrance, or did it all come together?
It was totally disorganized. That's the way I work since 1970. So I love to be disorganized and chaotic. We discussed the name of that screenplay, Le Roi Summer. At the beginning, it's a screenplay, Le Roi Summer, which is more or less, you know, the king is dying. But it has been translated in 1960 in the US by Exit the King. It's a screenplay of Eugène Ionesco, a fantastic writer. And that screenplay is very, obviously it's tragic, but it's a dark screenplay. But it tells something quite Shakespearean. And you have that phrase of Shakespeare, and that phrase is fantastic. And that was the preamble of The Saint with Ralf Schwieger and Cecile Matton. The preamble was a Shakespearean phrase, and it was, a king has his reign, and then he dies. Un roi naît, vit et meurt. But it's better in English this time. Usually it's better in French for me, but this time it's better in English. So king has his reign and then he dies. So we discussed about the cycle of vanity, and somehow the cycle of life, with Ralf Schwieger and Cecile Matton. And we started with that image not with the name Exit the King, truly, but with that phrase of Shakespeare, a king has his reign and then he dies, but with that beautiful picture from 1983 of Rock Hudson saluting Michael Jackson when he was shooting that video clip Thriller. That was in 1983. And I was a big fan of Rock Hudson. And you have Michael Jackson very shy and very happy, saluting and shaking hands with Rock Hudson. That picture is absolutely beautiful.
Very
and I said to myself, that's a transmission of vanity or fame or glory, but at the end you die. And so I love that panache. And those two iconic stars of the 80s, you know, they passed away. So nothing is forever. So it's a little bit, you know, the tragedy of life. And as the end is tragic, you need a good perfume to be dramatic in the meantime. So Exit the King. So that means you are frivole, you are full of vanity, but you know that it does not last. So you have a kind of second degree when you wear that perfume. So you are ready to fall and enjoy the fall with a fantastic scent on your skin. So fall with panache is nothing else than the spirit of that perfume.
Very interesting. So at the time, Rock Hudson was kind of on his way out. I think he had contracted AIDS and he was dying, right?
Exactly.
And Michael Jackson was just starting his reign, when he became popular and very famous.
Exactly. We call it what do you call that? Something like a transfer. Something like in French we say passation. You know, when you pass over something. And in fact, Michael Jackson was a true fan of Rock Hudson, and he was very happy to salute Rock Hudson. And he was as his peak, as his fate of his glory, Michael Jackson. That was the clip of Thriller, 1983. You know, what a momentum. He was something like...
I remember that time. I was a big fan of Michael Jackson.
Yeah, he was infinite, but he was bowing one knee down on the ground in front of Rock Hudson, because Rock Hudson was just before him. So it was a beautiful passation. Do you say passation in English when you transfer something to somebody? I
don't know the term, but I think it's transfer, maybe.
Transmitting, you know, the cycle of vanity. And
passing it on.
Yeah. Like a monarchy that you transfer to somebody else and you move on. Gone with the wind. Both of them, they were gone with the wind. Yeah. And it's beautiful. So, yes, it's a very tragic perfume, but beautiful. And it's a perfume that comes from the 80s. It's more or less, it's a Chypre perfume full of oak moss, patchouli, with obviously a kind of fresh, soapy cologne. And do you say soapy? Yes. You say
yeah,
soapy.
Of course, it's very soapy. Yeah, shaving soap.
Yeah, but it's very much the perfumery of the 80s, but with that modern twist. And it's fresh.
Clean. It's very clean. Perfect for these times. Clean. How do you work with two perfumers rather than just one? Is it by coincidence, or do you go to the two perfumers? In this case, Cecile Matton and Ralf Schwieger. Did they somehow work together to collaborate?
They are good friends. Cecile and Ralf are very close friends for quite a long time. And Cecile Matton, she did a fantastic work for Etat Libre D'Orange on Remarkable People and the storytelling of Josephine Baker. And she was fantastic with us. And Ralf did that beautiful The Afternoon of a Phone perfume for Etat Libre D'Orange. And then Ralf was in Paris because he lives in New York. And I said to Ralf, okay, let's have a meeting with Cecile and let's do something you together to celebrate the end of vanity or just the beginning or the end of absolutism. And we discussed about the 80s. We discussed about Rock Hudson. He was Ralf and Cecile were true fan of that, also that period of the early 80s. And the farewell Godspeed of Rock Hudson, telling the world that he was AIDS sick. And I'm a true kid of the 80s, and that period was very vital on me, and especially, you know,
me too.
I remember Rock Hudson during the Martian Chronicles and things like that. But it's a feminine scent. It's not masculine. It's not in your face. It's definitely a feminine scent, and it's for a beautiful Godspeed. It's for a beautiful Godspeed celebration.
Mm-hmm. You're saying that it's a feminine scent, but for me, it acts like shaving soap or shaving foam. It is
Yes, but
leaning on the.
for the obvious. You rush for the obvious.
Ah.
And the more you take, you know, Coco Chanel, she used to say, the more you rush for a masculine entity and you just add a little touch of femininity and then you blast the femininity. So yes, it takes inspiration into that kind of aftershave spirit of the 80s, but for me it's definitely a feminine scent. It's a good scent for Cleopatra.
Ah. Okay.
Another Gone with the Wind iconic legend.
True. She's definitely a legend. So it's a floral Chypre, and Chypres normally have bergamot, Cistus labdanum, and oak moss. This is not a traditional Chypre, though, right? You have other notes that you've used to create this style.
Part of that formulation is a traditional Chypre, but we have increased, you know, that Cologne family. So it's a kind of floral Chypre, but it's balanced around the Cologne, and the patchouli and the oak moss have been a little bit amplified. It was. I remember Cecile and Ralf, and I said, let's increase, you know, that patchouli forever. And Ralf said, I love it, so let's go for it.
So the patchouli plays an important part here.
Yeah, because it's so regressive into the 80s. Patchouli is like a time travel ingredient for me. It's a time travel. It's like traveling to Kathmandu, whatever, but it's also a kind of time travel to the 80s. And I love that power. With a scent, you can travel in time, like with a music, with a melody. And this is fantastic. And that perfume was somehow during the duration of the development that was talking about the early 80s. But it's not nostalgic. It's very positive, modern. It tells the world something eternal. That means that the end is tragic, so in the meantime, let's entertain ourselves, let's be frivole, and let's be dramatic. And for that, you need a good scent.
You mentioned that there's also Lily of the Valley. Is that something in the heart, I'm assuming?
Yeah, some white notes. So it makes it, for me, it's feminine, but we have no borders at Etat Libre D'Orange. We love to walk on the frontiers. So that's the spirit. So the more we say that it's full of aftershave, and the more I love to say that it's a feminine conception. I love to divert people, and I love diversion on the scent, and not rushing for the déjà vu. So definitely, obviously, it's a Rocky Hudson and Michael Jackson, iconic legends of the 80s who are departed. But at the end, it's feminine.
Yeah.
Because you know they were truly feminine in their or sensitive and sensible, and I love that.
Yeah, very. So what is Timur? Timur, you have Timur note listed. What is that particular note?
It's slightly fruity.
Is it a pepper?
It's a fruit. Yes, but for me it's a little bit fruity.
So it's a little spicy in the top.
Spicy a little bit, but I don't want to say that it's a spicy top note. For me, it's very floral at the beginning, Pink Bay and Lily of the Valley. Then you go into a patchouli, Cologne, and with a strong forest note full of oak moss. So it's definitely a kind of classic ship with that distortion into Cologne and white flowers. Maybe spicy, but not that much. For me, it's not a spicy creation.
No, you're right. It's not. Just a little bit, though.
Yeah, we thought about that aftershave of the 80s. Not a kind of Givenchy gentleman accord, but I remember the aftershave Givenchy gentleman. And
it does have a little bit of that.
Which is a strong patchouli. For me, it's one of the strongest patchouli in the industry, the Givenchy gentleman. And for me, that's my definition of an aftershave, Givenchy gentleman. The chic aftershave.
So would you call this then a clean scent? It's almost like walking into a clean green forest. Would you say that?
Yes, yes. A little because of the oak moss. You know, when you put your nose, you just take the oak moss on a tree, and you put your nose. It's a little bit like the myrrh. It smells a little bit the mushroom as well as the myrrh and the true dust of a forest. So it's dusty. It's in terms of a forest. Like when you put your nose and it gives you a mushroom effect, a kind of mushroom forest effect, or like a myrrh. That myrrh, when you smell the myrrh, it's like smelling a mushroom. So I love that, and I love that forest effect of the oak moss. For me, it's like going into the roots of the wood.
So it's earthy.
Exactly. Your English is better than mine, especially at
I'm just trying to figure out.
In Paris. No. And I need a drink of Chardonnay tonight.
Oh, okay.
But I have to stay sober in front of you. No, definitely, it's an earthy scent, and it's a good way. And because at the end you return to the soil, so it's good to say that it's an earthy scent, because the fall at the end you return to the soil.
Well,
like
exit
shadow
the king.
And dust. Exit the king, shadow and dust. And there is a phrase of Louis Aragon, that French poet, that I love to quote. He said that woman, la femme est l'avenir de l'homme. Woman is the future of man and mankind. So that's very much the spirit of Exit the King. We go to humanity. Including Mr. Trump, including Joe Biden, including Mr. Putin, or Emmanuel Macron. I think that Emmanuel Macron bows very much to femininity, and I love that. In fact, it gives you a higher value as a manhood if you bow to femininity. So that's very much a little bit what I love with Rock Hudson and Michael Jackson, because somehow those beautiful, sensible and sensitive people, they were bowing to femininity. And the higher you go, the more you have like a kind of final privilege is to bow one knee down on the ground to femininity. You don't have femininity, sorry, it's a French word. It means humanity or
femininity, right?
Femininity. Hey, definitely your English, Sébastien.
I'm doing my best. I wish I could speak French, which we discussed.
It would have been fantastic. Can you imagine a world ruled by the French? It would have been so easier for me to do my business and to tell the world about the perfume. Because I'm better in French than in English, Sébastien. 10 times better.
I will have to learn French soon. People are saying I don't speak. The words that I say that are in French, I'm not pronouncing them correctly. So I need to come to France and live there for a while, so I can pronounce French words.
French. Yeah. If you want to speed up your French learning, the only way is to have a love affair with a French entity.
One of these days. So I don't know if we covered this, but when you mentioned you came up with the name Exit the King, how did you think that you wanted to make a Chypre floral to represent Exit the King? Is that something the perfumers came up with, or?
For me, I said I just want a Chypre because it was somehow missing in the range. And on top of that, maybe one of my top 10 perfumes, one is Aromatic Elixir, the other one is also Eau du Soir of Cecile. And I said, I just want, the same, I just want the same family, because that's my vision of that period of time. And I think it's éternel, modern, and not déjà vu. It's very chic, it's very deep. And so a Chypre or nothing. So
makes total sense.
That was, and on top of that, Ralf and Cecile got that accord together of a kind of a soapy aftershave with a little touch of Chypre. So we have worked something like 4 months on that formulation from the start, because it was fantastic at the beginning.
So what else can you say about this? I mean, it's a great scent. It's definitely clean and soapy. It's almost like you're entering a green forest, but very clean. Maybe shaving in the forest with all the greenery around.
Exit the king, long live the queen. Definitely the perfume for the fall, but fall with panache and générosité. I remember Marcel Proust used to say that the final privilege of powerful people is humbleness. And so that perfume is for the entire social ladder, from the very beginning till the end. You go to the peak, you go to the fate, you go up, you go down. You just need a kind of eternal perfume that has a good second degree, and that will tell the world that you go through with a beautiful second degree and cynicism on yourself.
No, that's great. So this is launching very soon. It's launching on the 1st of October here in the States.
Yeah, it's going to be available the 1st of October in the US. And
but is it launching before in Paris? I mean, in France?
It's going to be around the 15th of September.
Okay, so you guys get it first.
Yeah, so definitely it's a good perfume for politicians, but politicians with a good bunch of irony on themselves. So definitely Exit the King will be very useful for this year all over the world. Exit the King, long live the Queen, more women empowerment. La femme est l'avenir de l'homme should be the mantra for that 21st century.
Let's make it. Great. All right. I think that's pretty much it, guys. If you're ever in Paris, and I can't wait to go back because currently we're dealing with pandemic, definitely go to the Etat Libre D'Orange store. It's a great looking store. It's right on the corner of what? Yeah, it's
at the crossroad of Rue des Archives and Rue Pastourelle. We are deep in the Marais. Marais is a very historical district in Paris, so it's good to be at the crossroad, and especially we are located 69 Rue des Archives, which is an easy number to remember. But it's not the eroticism. That's not the eroticism. That's being on the crossroad. So we are a perfume house with a twist.
Yeah,
and you are welcome to visit us when the COVID era is no more. Let's counterattack together the COVID era.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks so much for watching that video, and I'm sorry it turned out to be a little longer than normal, but you got all the scoop on how this fragrance came about. Now for the giveaway, we do have one full bottle to give away of Exit the King to subscribers of this channel from the USA. What you have to do, here are the rules, is 1, put down what you thought about this video. You got to put that down. 2, why does Exit the King sound good to you, and why you would want to wear it. So that's 3 things. Lastly, please put your state. Please make sure to follow these rules, and also please make sure you're subscribed, and good luck with the giveaway. Other than that, guys, today, let me know what your thoughts are on Exit the King. Does it sound great to you? Would you wear it? It's a unisex fragrance. Does it sound like you would wear it if you're a man? And how about if you are a woman? What does this fragrance sound like to you? Please put some comments down so I can find out. Other than that, I want to let you know that there are various videos on the channel on Etat Libre D'Orange, so if you're curious to learn more about this house, please search for it on my channel, Etat Libre D'Orange, and find those videos and watch them. Lastly, thanks so much for watching today. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Otherwise, please like this video, please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.